Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be working on my 1998 Jeep Cherokee XJ, particularly on the track bar. Now, being that it's a Rubicon Express, I bought it a few years back. It probably has maybe 120,000 kilometers roughly on it, but over the past winter, it's developed some play in the heim joint, and this video is about replacing just the joint itself. The reason I went with the Rubicon Express all those years ago was the fact that at the time they advertised it to be serviceable and repairable. So the bar itself never needs to be replaced, just the joint at the end when it develops play or whatnot. But obviously that's not the case because based on some research, the joint from Rubicon Express is discontinued. Being that I'm in the middle of saving for a WJ knuckle swap with 110 steering, I'm going to be replacing this track bar in the near future anyway. So my plan now is just to replace the joint, buy me some time as I'm saving the money and collecting all the parts needed for the 110 steering swap. Here we are under the Jeep, and this is my Rubicon Express track bar, and as you can see, when I go up and down with it, there's supposed to be no play, and we're getting play like crazy, up and down and left and right. And this is tight, the nut up top's tight, and the locking nut is indeed tight, so the play itself is in the heim joint. My plan is to replace it with a replacement one I found. Now, it's not a direct fit. I'm hoping, based off the measurements and everything I found online for this one, I found the closest thing to a replacement. So this is what I found. Is by Competition Engineering or Moroso, whatever. This is the part number. I found the measurements of the Rubicon Express one, the discontinued part, and I just matched it to this one. So this should be a direct fit. So here are the two side by side. The one on the left is the Rubicon Express and the one on the right is the Moroso replacement. As you can see, the dimensions for both are identical. Both are left-hand thread as well as the correct length and width. So here's all the tools you'll need for the job. Brake clean, of course, penetrating oil, loosen the bolts, Loctite to put on the stud after, anti-seize for the threads. The socket used for the head of the bolt is 15/16. I have two different sizes, so I can use two different sockets. Paint pen is to match the one we removed with the one that we installed. Mallet to help massage it into place. The wrench I used, this is double-ended, but it's 1 inch, the nut for the bolt, but also came in use was the adjustable for the top nut as well as the locking nut that holds the whole assembly together. Torque wrench, of course, half-inch ratchet, half-inch ratchet, 3/8 ratchet, and pry bar to pry it out of place. Flashlight optional, but definitely makes your life easier. For jack stands. First things first, I went ahead and put the seatbelt around the steering wheel here just to keep the steering wheel centered because we are indeed touching the steering system. So this will help ensure the steering wheel stays straight when we loosen that track bar. So the first thing I did was spray the area down with brake clean and then proceeded to mark where the locking nut is with a paint pen. And what that's going to do is to, as a reference point, when we put the new one on, we know roughly how far the adjustment is and how much threads we have to get it lined up exactly as it was before we removed it. First, I will be loosening the bolt that goes through the frame brace. And once that's loose, I'm going to be using a giant adjustable wrench to loosen the locking nut. Once all that's loose, I will lift the vehicle up, put on jack stands, and proceed to remove the track bar. So I was having trouble getting this locking nut off, so wrestling with it for a little while, I remembered that, oh wait a minute, let me try tightening it to loosen it. And I was indeed correct. This is reverse thread. I forgot to mention that. So tightening is loosening, loosening is tightening, and then lo and behold, she's loose. So let's get this off and on the workbench, and we'll compare it to the new one. So here's a comparison from the Moroso new one to the original Rubicon Express one. As you can see, there is so much play in this thing. It moves with almost little to no effort, and you can see the scoring from just overall wear and tear and use on the surface of this joint. So this is garbage, but I did clean it up to take it apart to show you that both look to be an identical match. As you can see, we got it pretty close where it needs to be, so all we need to do is install it back on the truck now. But before that, I want to show you how the bolt works. So it actually goes through. Pretend this is the bottom. It has another sleeve like it does down there, and this slides on as such, and the nut goes through like this. If I can get it to catch, of course, but it's impossible holding a camera. Here we go. It's all in the fingers, remember that. Anyway, that's how it goes on the steering brace on the frame of the truck. So we're going to get this all cleaned up in the wire wheel, clean up the threads a little bit, they're a little dirty, and it'll be on the truck in the next few minutes. So just before we go putting this on the truck, just wanted to take this chance to put some anti-seize on the threads that go into the track bar for easy removal next time. And we're going to be putting some blue Loctite for the actual track bar hold down bolt. At this point, we got it just about bottomed out here, but it's still loose. Next, we're going to put the bolt through, and we're going to worry about tightening the jam nut once everything's assembled and hand tight. The layout for the bolt is you're going to have the one bushing your sleeve through here like this, and the second one be through it like this. So now it's time for the final torquing. As per the Rubicon Express online installation guide for these track bars, it's 115 foot-pounds of torque. I have my wrench wedged up in the steering brace here, the perfect angle, just catches the nut. Now let's get this socket on here and see if we can get her to click. Any second. There we go. One more for good luck. Alright. She ain't going anywhere. Just want to remind everyone, we're tightening this with the vehicle on the ground. We need the weight of the suspension and everything settled to get the final tightening and making sure everything's nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and tighten this jam nut now. I'm not sure the torque spec for this, I don't remember. Just go until she can't turn anymore. Oh yeah, that should be good. Alright guys, so day 2 here, finally in the Jeep. We're finally gonna go for a road test to see if all the work we did yesterday was for anything. We can already tell by shaking the track bar that there was no play or anything like that. Everything's tight now. The steering alignment, thanks to the seatbelt, is all nice and straight still. Now the final test is to drive it around and see if the slack and the slop in the steering has been corrected by us replacing that heim joint. All right, let's go. So far so good. Steering feels pretty tight. Big difference compared to what it used to be. Definitely less wandering as well. I don't have to, there's not as much steering wheel travel in between steering and nothing. Alright, here we go. Let's get it up to speed. I want to see if we have any wandering at 100 kilometers an hour. Let's see. It's quite surprising how gutless a 4-liter can be, but oh well. Okay, that's about 90 kilometers an hour there, and so far so good. I'm happy with it. Unfortunately, there's a car in front of us, but we're gonna do another lap. Okay, this is us about 80 kilometers. We don't have much wander or anything like that. I'm quite happy with this. So that wraps up today's video. Just a recap, we serviced and replaced the heim joint on a Rubicon Express track bar for my 98 Jeep Cherokee. I hope this helps someone out there. You know, if you're looking to service or repair your track bar, you don't have to necessarily replace it. There's ways around these things, and in this case my plan is to replace the entire steering and suspension setup down the road, but for now this is going to keep the spending down and allows me to save and wait as I source out the proper pieces I need for my WJ steering and whatnot. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on this truck or any of my other vehicles. Thanks again.